Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Upgrades. I'm Jeremy Noell. I am here with Jonathan Suarez, and we are talking about the Ruthless Regiment Commander 2020 deck in this video. This is the Mardu Humans deck, for the most part, headed up by Jarina Kudrow, is how I want to say that's pronounced. Jarina says, legendary creature, human soldier, 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. And other humans you control get +2/+0. So this is going to be a pretty aggressive deck, I feel. Like, you're definitely going to be wanting to swing with this card.
For sure.
And I feel like both of our choices for this one have kind of shown that sort of thing as well. We've kind of leaned into that aggressiveness with our choices here. So both of us, for our first card that we picked out of the 10, picked the same card. And this is a card from Ikoria that I think is just... This is ridiculous. I love this card. When it came out, I said, I am going to hate losing to this card over and over and over again in Commander. And then Justin immediately tweeted, I am going to love ruining people with this card over and over and over again.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to getting this card cast against me because I'm never going to cast it. But man, it's a sweet card.
Yep. So Ruinous Ultimatum. It's part of the series of the ultimatums, and it's red, white, white, black, black, sorcery. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. This card's real mean.
Yeah.
Now, normally I would want to cast a card like this. It makes you a very big target at a table. But sometimes you just have to.
That's right.
Sometimes you just got to pull the trigger. One of the really great things about this is in black and red especially, there's not a lot that gets rid of artifacts and enchantments. And this gets rid of all of those very well.
Sure does.
Yeah, so like white can get rid of like the enchantments, red can get rid of the artifacts, kind of. They both have options for both, but yeah, this definitely just all in one shot gets rid of everything. So
yeah, the first time you get to blow up your opponent's like ghostly prison propaganda that they're all just sitting behind or something like that. Hit the heuristic studies, sphere of safeties. It's going to just blow up everything. It's going to be obnoxious. Plague Wind is an obnoxious card. Ingrug's Wake is an obnoxious card. This card is significantly better than those.
Yeah, definitely gets, you got somebody who's just got like, hexproof stuff, get rid of all that.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Does not matter. Get rid of it all. It is a very interesting 3-color Cyclonic Rift.
Ish.
That makes you feel worse somehow.
Yeah. At least it'll never be in response to something, which is nice. That's the worst part of Cyclonic Rift is that it, in response, will return all of the permanents.
Yeah, exactly.
This one will just be...
That is the worst part of that. The worst part of this is definitely the...
Destroy.
Oh, I don't get to just redeploy those on my turn.
Yeah.
I don't just get to go, okay, play my Soul Ring, play my Signet, get this, get that. Now I have to discard a couple of cards. This is, okay, now I have to go dig for my recursion. So.
Yeah. When they were testing this card, they just purposely never cast it. Whoever designed it was like, I'm never going to cast this card. I don't want anybody to know until it's seen print, and then I'm going to wreak havoc on everybody with it. It's going to be great.
For sure. So, really great card. We both definitely had it on our list. Really good. So, my next card is General Kudrow of Draneth, which is from Ikoria. It's one of the mythic legends. 1 black, white for a 3/3. Other humans you control get +1/+1. And whenever it or another human enters the battlefield under your control, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. Really good, like, selective, getting rid of those few things that you might want to get rid of here and there for anybody who's going to be trying to get that recursion engine going. And then 2, sacrifice 2 humans, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. So it's got a little bit of built-in creature destruction as well. So,
yeah. Well, you're an attacking human deck, so you want to be a little lower to the ground. So it's nice that it has the built-in. If they play a giant roadblock, you can just get rid of it, which is nice.
Yep. Yeah, it's got an Anthem effect for all your humans. Mm-hmm. It is a 3/3 for 3, which is really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can just get rid of a couple of your tokens, blow up their big thing, swing out with the rest of your tokens.
Yep.
And yeah, works out really well. So your next card is a pretty good staple in pretty much any black-white deck.
It sure is. So, like I was just saying, getting rid of roadblocks is important for these creature attacking type style decks. So the card I selected was Anguish Unmaking, and like you said, this is an Orzhov staple. 3 mana instant, exile target non-land permanent, and you lose 3 life. Thankfully, in the game of Commander, we're gifted with 40 of those life points, so losing 3 doesn't really matter too much. Exactly. The instant ability means that you can just do it at any point, and you don't have to worry about doing it on your own turn. You can sneak it under counter magic. You can, you can play politics and save people with it. The card's just great, and it deals with anything that's not a land. So, fantastic Commander staple.
If somebody's really like, yucking your yum and playing something like, what's the 1-mana enchantment that all your stuff comes in tapped and they gain a life?
Console Authorities. Blind Obedience.
Blind Obedience. Any of those types of ones where all your creatures come into play tapped. You're going to probably be wanting to, have your little creatures as blockers, and then maybe some of your haste creatures, you're going to want to be swinging with those immediately. So getting rid of those. And also because you're an aggressive deck and you're going to be wanting to take chunks out of people, you want to get rid of that life total advantage as well in either of those cards. So,
but before I let you move on, what was that saying? If somebody's what was that?
Yucking your yum.
Yucking your yum. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Never heard that?
No, that must be one of those Michigan ones.
I don't think so, but maybe.
My next card is Judith, the Scourge Diva. So, this is a 3 mana, 1 black-red, 2/2 legendary human shaman, and it gives other creatures you control +1/+0, and whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Judith deals 1 damage to any target. Like you said, having something that, not necessarily returning it from the graveyard, but having some sort of value when your creatures die is going to be incredibly important in these kind of decks. Anthem effects are obviously going to be very important because if you're a smaller human tribal deck, you want to make sure that their power can get through the bigger creatures that end up in the game inevitably. I really love Judith. And the fact that it can ping any target is fantastic whenever a creature dies. You can hit a planeswalker, you can hit a creature, you can hit the player. Yep. It does it all.
Yeah, and if you're building up a lot of tokens and if you have like a sack outlet of some sort, you definitely get a lot of advantage out of this just by sacking those little humans.
But it can't be tokens.
Oh, not tokens.
Specifically non-token.
But just any of the creatures that you're going to be sacking from it. Yeah. If you're going to sack your Jarina Kudro to get even more tokens the next time you cast it, things of that nature.
Or somebody decides they want to cast Ruinous Ultimatum on you. At least you're getting some value out of your creatures on their way out.
Yeah, for sure. So, and it's another card that you can be brought back from the graveyard with Alesha.
With Alesha. Yeah, that's pretty insane.
Speaking of more tokens, my next one is Outlaw's Merriment, which is a super fun card because it has a little bit of random chance to it. So it's a 1 red, white enchantment mythic. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose one at random. Choose a red and white creature token with these create a red and white creature token with these characteristics. You either get a 3/1 with trample and haste, a 2/1 with lifelink and haste, or a 1/2 with haste and this creature enters the battlefield. It deals 1 damage to any target. Combine that with your Jarina, other humans you control get +2/+0. You got a lot of power that can come out of this card really quickly. If you get that one with either of the ones with haste are just fantastic.
Yeah, all of them have haste, right? I think the 3/1.
They do all have haste.
They just all have haste. It's insane.
I always
think the 1/2 doesn't have it, but it does. For whatever reason, it's there.
It does. So they all have haste, but like the 3/1 and the 2/1, you just automatically have a 5/1 or a 4/1 with either trample or lifelink. Yep. That's such good value off that. And it's a fairly inexpensive enchantment. It's 4 mana. It does cost 2 white and a red, but I think you're going to be doing pretty well with this one.
Yeah, this deck also has Skull Clamp in it in the precon as well. So having the ability to, in 2 of the options that you could possibly get, have a creature that just dies of Skull Clamp, allowing you to draw cards. Also great.
Yep. If you've got that Jarina already out and they get the boost to the power, but not to the toughness, so you can just
doesn't matter.
Get rid of one of them, draw 2 cards. Really, really good.
Yep. So my next card has my least favorite word that appears on Magic the Gathering cards. You'll figure it out what it is in just a moment. So my card is Disrupt Decorum. For 2 colors, red, sorcery. Goad all creatures you don't control. Now, I absolutely hate the word goad. I don't know why, but it bothers me on a personal level. And I hate the fact that it's a thing in Magic, but when you're a small creature kind of deck, this is fantastic. Being able to just, make all of your opponent's creatures attack for a turn and not attack you, which most likely will leave them open and vulnerable to your next attack, is a great kind of card for what this deck's trying to do.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah, I know the keyword annoys you a lot, but
I hate it. I hate everything about it.
It's super good in decks like this, like you said. So
too many vowels in the word. That must be what it is. Those two vowels next to each other just bother me. I don't know what it is, but I hate it.
Yeah. My next card really cares about the humans entering the battlefield, which, again, a couple of the cards I've already talked about with things like Chirina and with Outlaw's Merriment and things like that. So my next one is Champion of the Parish. It's a 1/1 for 1. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Yes.
So this one can come down real early and get real beefy real quick.
Sure
Again,
can.
another card that you can get back with Alesha because its base power is 1/1. But yeah, this one can get out of hand real quick in a deck like this.
And this card doesn't care if they're a token, as long as they're human.
As long as they are a human.
Get it. Yeah. Token, non-token, doesn't care.
All
as long as you're
different
human, you're going to get the plus.
Yep.
For sure.
So yeah, just solid 1-drop all around, I think.
Yeah. My next card is from, I believe, the same set as Champion of the Parish, which is kind of a sub-theme of Innistrad, is Mentor of the Meek. 2 colors and a white 2/2. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield in your control, you can pay 1, and if you do, draw a card. Typically, the Mardu deck probably doesn't have a ton of draw. So making sure that you're getting value out of your creatures is important. Making sure that you're drawing cards off of your creatures are important. Mentor of the Meek slots perfectly into that. I think every card we've named that's been a creature so far will trigger Mentor of the Meek. So that kind of card is going to be great in this deck. It's going to definitely work overtime.
Yeah, it does have the unfortunate thing of if your commander is out, then it doesn't trigger because it does. Those creatures do come in with the +2 power already.
Yes.
So, but if you're playing this on turn 3 and then playing a couple of small tokens or small humans like Champion of the Parish, then you can pay that extra 1 to draw some of those extra cards before getting your commander out, and then really bashing in with those much bigger creatures at that point. So.
Yep. Or just build up your board before you can get there, or if your commander has died and you're gonna, or if you just want to sack your commander and get the tokens for however many times you cast it.
Yeah, for sure.
So all those tokens will trigger, because I think it's a cast trigger for Kudra, right? Or is it when it enters the battlefield? It is enter the battlefield, right?
Enters the battlefield. Yep.
All right. Yeah. So that won't work, but.
Yep. So my next one is also an older card and even older than Innistrad, and it is Reconnaissance, which is a 1 white mana enchantment, and you pay 0, remove target attacking creature you control from combat, and untap it. So this seems a little odd to people at first, a lot of the times, but what you do is, because the creature that you're attacking with is still considered an attacking creature until the end of combat, what you do is swing in with everything, and then you can give them pseudo-vigilance by paying 0 to untap them at the very end of combat.
Yeah.
So it's really good for anything that you want to use as blockers, and also really good if you have any creatures that have any sort of tap abilities, which there are definitely plenty of in these colors. So if you have activated abilities that require you to tap them, really good. It works really well with Calcian, which is in this deck as well, because that one taps to ping something, and then you can attack with it because it has vigilance, tap to ping, and then untap it with Reconnaissance, so that you still have your vigilant blocker. That's really big. So
the Maze of Ith trick was the original one that kind of did that, and Reconnaissance is a nice cheap way of doing that as well.
It recur like multiple times in one turn.
Yeah, you do it to your whole team. So
So
right. Let's see what I've got. My next card, right along the lines of Mentor of the Meek, making sure that you continue to draw cards with these creatures, is Grim Haruspex. So this card is 2 colors and a black for a 3/2. It does have the morph ability. Not that you'll probably be morphing it too much in this deck, but maybe you don't want your opponent to know. I can't imagine you're going to have too many morphs, so they're probably going to figure it out. But it does morph for a black. And it says whenever another non-token creature you control dies, draw a card.
Yeah, I really like this card.
Card's great. It's human, tribal, has a lot of power for its mana cost. Like Judith, it gives you value whenever your creatures start dying. Whenever somebody decides to cast that Ruinous Ultimatum, that's inevitably going to ruin your day. At least you'll draw a bunch of cards in addition. So having those kinds of effects to make sure that if your board gets wiped, you can refuel and come back is going to be very, very important for these kinds of decks.
There's other cards that are similar to this. Most recently, it's been Midnight Reaper, but that one does cause you to lose or take a damage every time you draw. Every time
it's
one
also
of those creatures
a zombie
dies.
Or something, right? It's not a human.
No, it's a.
Is it a human?
Oh no, it is. It is a zombie knight. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's not a human. So I had to look it up because
this one's right on tribal too, which is great.
This one's right on tribal, and it doesn't damage you, which is a really big one. It is non-token creatures, but it's still really good for whenever your big stuff, like your Judith or your Alesha or something, your mentor dies. You get to get that value out of it. As we said, these colors do have a little bit of trouble with drawing cards. This helps out a lot with that.
Sure.
My next card is one that, again, like I said, you're going to be attacking a lot. This one cares a lot about attacking, and that is Tajik Legion's Edge. 1 red-white for a 3/2 legendary creature, human soldier. It has haste. It has mentor, so it's going to power up your other smaller creatures, and it has prevent all non-combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures you control. Yep. Plus, as an added bonus, because why wouldn't you have 4 different abilities on a creature? It has red and white. Tajik Legion's Edge gains first strike until end of turn. So if you really need to crack in and they've got a big blocker, with this combined with your stuff like your Jarina Kudro and your General Kudro, it's just going to really have a bunch of power to it. You're going to be able to take and put more +1/+1 counters on your other smaller stuff. And yeah, I think it's just a fantastic addition to this deck.
For sure. So my next card, this card is Tribal, Anthem, and Draw. All the things that you want for this deck. Vanquisher's Banner. 5 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. It's going to be human in this deck. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1, and whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, draw a card. This card checks every box that you would want. It doesn't have the, if your board gets wiped kind of box, I guess, but it has everything else. Just getting to refuel over and over and over again, giving creatures +1/+1. This is just the type of thing you want.
Yep, for sure. And I'm going to skip down on mine a couple here, and very similar in nature. We're kind of talking about similar things that have that almost coat of arms effect, but nobody really likes playing with coat of arms.
Yeah, I don't want to keep up with that.
Yeah, you get that one person who brings the elf deck, or you're going to have other people that are going to have random humans and stuff like that, and that cares about all the creatures. So
yeah, I don't want to know if it's a human knight or a human warrior. I don't want to figure that out.
Yeah, human cleric, whatever it is, human soldier. It gets super overcomplicated. So we've got things like Vanquisher's Banner and the one I picked, which is Door of Destinies. This one was from Lorwyn. I really loved that set. I really loved this in that set. It says, when it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, put a charge counter on it. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1 for each charge counter on Door of Destinies. So it does care about the casting of the spells, but most of your creatures in this deck are probably going to end up being human. So you just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it works sort of in that coat of arms way, in that it is going to make all of your humans much, much larger. And it's going to get scarier the further along you go in the game.
Yeah, Lorwyn Morningtide was just a block that was kind of like this deck.
Yeah.
So this card plays right into it. The creature tribal type, it's great.
Yeah.
I love it
so much.
So my next card, right on theme with what I've been saying, is Unbreakable Formation. 2 colorless and a white. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. It also has addendum. If you cast this card during your main phase, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures, and they gain vigilance until end of turn. So this card gets to play defense. It gets to play offense. This card is fantastic. There's other cards similar to it, like Eerie Interlude or Ghost Way, that exile your cards and bring them back. But this is the card that I would choose. I like the ability to play defensively. I like the ability to anthem my creatures and attack with vigilance. That it actually just plays both ways. You get to play offense and defense with this card. So it doesn't even have to be either or. Fantastic card. Played this card a lot in Commander and in Standard. So big fan.
And they still get that indestructible. So if you need to just get in, and
they get that no matter what. Indestructible. You get that regardless. Whenever you cast it.
If you just need to take a chunk out of somebody's life, you still have all your blockers back if you absolutely need them.
Yep.
So
you just swing as much as you want. They're not going anywhere.
My next one is another one from Lorwyn that cares about attacking, and that's Dolmen Gate. It's a 2-mana artifact that says prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control.
Yeah.
So, really good. Not quite indestructible, but definitely makes them really think hard about their blocking situation.
Yeah, pretty close. Indestructible during combat.
Yeah, basically.
You don't have to think.
They just don't care about your blockers. They definitely can be destroyed with spells and effects and stuff like that.
Sure.
But
not death touch.
Not death touch.
Not death touch. Not doing combat.
You're preventing all that. So really good. Real nice. Nice cheap artifact. So
for sure. So my last card, right?
Actually, you got 2 more. You did skip over one earlier.
I did skip over one. Oh, that one's fun too. I'm gonna save that one for last. So my next card, like Unbreakable Formation, is Boros Charm. This card, modern staple for sure. I don't know that this card sees a ton of play in Commander, but for red-white, it's an instant, and you get to choose one of 2 options. Or 3 options. Yep. 3 options. You get to deal 4 damage to target player. So, a pretty good chunk. Or permanents you control gain indestructible this turn, which is the most commonly used ability to, just like Unbreakable Formation, you kind of just prevent the wrath or whatever sweeper your opponent's going to be casting, like Ruinous Ultimatum. I can't wait till I do that. But the other ability, it also has another choice that you could just give a creature double strike until end turn. So if you just all of a sudden just want to get in there for a big chunk of damage, if you have your commanders out, if you have your Anthem effects out, and you just have a 4/6 power creature, all of a sudden you can hit them for a ton of damage.
Yep. Yeah, they might be strategically blocking, thinking okay, well, I'm at 10, and so I'm going to block all these, and I'm going to take 5, and be like, nope, you're dead. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Real deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, can definitely deal a lot of damage. My last one is one that cares a little bit about just tokens, but it really is just more of a wanting to make sure that you can Wrath late in the game, and that's Martial Coup. It's X white sorcery. You create X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. If X is 5 or more, destroy all other creatures. So that's definitely one of the big things. Is you might have a couple people who have a bunch of cards out that are just really big blockers or value engines or something like that, and you're like, all right, well, I hate to do this to my board, but I'm going to get something out of it. I'm going to get these tokens. They're not humans, unfortunately, but you at least get those few tokens that you want to have left over that can block later or can swing in for a couple chunks of damage, however you need to. So,
all right. Well, this is my last card. This is a soon-to-be Mardu colored staple for Commander for sure. This is from Ikoria. It is the Mythos of Snapdax. 2 colors and a white. Each player chooses an artifact, creature, enchantment, and planeswalker card from among the non-land permanents they control, and then sacrifices the rest. Sorcery speed, perfectly reasonable card. The card becomes obnoxious when you decide to pay black, red, white for the card, and if you do that when you cast this, you choose the permanents for each player instead. That's pretty obnoxious.
Yeah.
Choosing your little 1/1 or your Sylvan Caryatid or whatever creature you may have in play, choosing your Signet over your Amaret's Archive or any other crazy cards that you might have. This card just can decimate a board.
Yeah, it definitely can take as you said, I think it's going to be a Mardu staple.
For sure. For 4 mana, you get to choose the cards that stay in play.
Yeah, you're definitely going to see this come out of things like Queen Marchesa.
Queen Marchesa is going to love this card.
Queen Marchesa is going to love this card. Queen Marchesa, Lesha, just like any of those types of cards that really are trying to be aggressive and Marchesa loves controlling the board too. So and being the one to be the monarch.
This card would be a Mardu staple if you had to pay black red in addition to the 2 colors white.
Yeah,
the fact that you just for white black red you get to do this, it's very, very powerful.
Yeah, if it was white 2 kicker black red,
yes, still playable.
Still playable in
very
this, so.
Very.
All right, so that's our last one for the Ruthless Regiment deck. Let us know what you think, and let us know what kinds of cards you would actually play in this deck to go alongside of the ones that we've suggested. And yeah, just make sure to put that in the comments and let everybody see what's going on here. Thank you all for joining us, and we will be back with another episode of Upgrades here, going over the last couple of decks in Commander 2020. So make sure to check that out later this week.